Today, I need to discuss something that has important legal implications for our company and our future. So I want to be very clear about what I say. So I'm going to be reading this word for word, and I'm going to ask that you please hold questions for now.
No Evil Foods is an example of a, seemingly progressive company, with customers that had an image in the community that it was a good company with good values. And when workers went to organize, it ran, a model anti-union campaign.
I've been told that people are asking you to sign union authorization cards from the United Food and Commercial Workers Union, which is the UFCW, and that the union has said that it can protect you and give you a voice.
A captive audience meeting is a meeting set up by the employer. It's mandatory. It's on work time, lasts half an hour to 2 hours, where workers are required to sit and listen to management campaign against the union.
For that first meeting specifically, it was not even described as a discussion that was going to even mention a union or a possible union. This was described as an all-team meeting, which is something that we did regularly, but obviously it didn't end up being that.
So let's be honest. Unions can be a good thing. Our company supports organized labor where it's needed, and we think it's absolutely critical that all employees have a voice in the workplace. But we didn't want to go into this without understanding what it meant, how it could affect our jobs, and how unions operate.
As it progressed, it began to feel more and more hostile.
Right now, a union would be a terrible thing for you and for No Evil Foods. Changes that are necessary for our business to be able to survive and thrive could be significantly more difficult with a union contract in place. So I ask you to think really hard about all that progress that we've made so far and what that indicates for the future of our team at No Evil Foods and your future as a part of this team.
Nobody likes their livelihood threatened. These people have families and lives that they need to maintain. And it's an effective tool to scare people out of doing what could help them.
The way that they were threatening us, it was never really, you're going to lose your jobs, you're going to lose your pay. It was always, you might lose your jobs, you might lose your pay. We don't know what's going to happen. And they never outright said it, but it was always implied. So it's like, they'll get you halfway there and then you just do the math in your head for the rest of it. The threats were always veiled.
Nothing that you have right now in terms of wages or benefits is set in stone. It could all change during this bargaining. You could get more than what you currently have. You could get the same thing that you currently have. You could get less than you currently have.
When you were a union buster, what were some of the tools that you used or the tactics you used to keep unions off the property or to weaken the union that was on the property?
It basically was all on the offensive. It was all attacking the union as being some outsider, being some foreign outside interloper that really had no real concerns about the people. It was misdefining the union. It was taking the letters U and I out of union and making the union something other than that group of people who came together to be a union. It was attack, attack, attack. I would attack from every front I could, and that is the job of the union buster. I taught management and I practiced that when you're in an endeavor to bust a union, whether it's to bust them, fracture them, weaken them, whatever the motive or goal may be, that you never defend yourself. If you could ever get me on the defensive, you'd beat my pants off. But I put so many things out there that you had to defend that you lost sight of the real issues. I had so many things out there that you had to juggle and go chase, that the real heart and soul issues were gone.
Management came and they had a big meeting with everybody in the mid-shift and kind of, try to flex their muscle.
Yes, you guys unions were great back in the 20s and 30s and 40s when we needed unions. Us hard workers that are out here right now, that's what right now, you have laws that protect you, just like the union says they have. They're not above the law, they're with the law. When I was managing on the ramp, okay, you think you can't fire a union employee? You can. I fired many. It's called a paper trail. That's all it is.
They come up with much more subtle strategies. They use the carrot more than the stick. And the carrot can be promises. The carrot can be that they make little improvements, nothing big, but little improvements, but enough so workers think, if we don't campaign, we get rewarded.
When you unlock another No Evil milestone achievement, you'll be rewarded with a gift that you really want or really need. We've added a 75-cent shift differential for second shift because these are less preferred work hours for many, and we recognize that. We've also increased a bi-weekly staff meal to a weekly staff meal, continued to increase the size and quality of our snack program, and added awesome coffee that also benefits animal welfare organizations. This is the biggest opportunity of our lives and the biggest gamble of our lives. We're literally all in. Everything we have is invested in this company. Everything we own, our home, our possessions, they're guaranteeing loans that we had to get to buy the equipment that's on the floor that you guys use every day to make a product.
They really played up on fears of, almost want to argue that it was housing insecurity. Just the fact that they focused in on our house is tied to this. Because ironically, they knew that the employees there would be able to sympathize with housing insecurity.
Language is part of captive audience meetings, and the employer is trying to make workers insecure, unsettled, and to create division and conflict. And so playing one group against each other, implying an uncertain future, economic future if the union came in, implying that all relationships would change, all the good things they'd have will disappear. Those are the elements of a captive audience meeting. But the thing that'll catch employers off guard the most is when you don't get scared. So learn about anti-union campaigns, talk about them, so then when it happens, you go, yes, I knew they were going to do that. And then it doesn't feel as scary.
For those of you who fear that No Evil Foods is on a quick path to sell our business and walk away and leave you without a job, I want to be very clear with you and dispel that myth right here, right now. That story is truly so far from the truth. We are at the beginning of a journey, nowhere near the end.
Locally based vegan food company are speaking out, saying their employer laid off the entire production crew.
No Evil Foods provided a statement to Business Insider confirming they've laid off their entire production crew and are moving from in-house manufacturing to co-packing manufacturer.
Just wish they would have went about it different. Like, hey, we'll give you a 2 weeks head up, maybe some type of severance. Give me a little bit to, to hold me over for the rest of the month.
They will tell you in any captive audience meeting, anything could happen when the union comes in. This could be, all of these terrible things could happen. All of those things could still happen if you don't vote a union in. And No Evil Foods is the perfect example of this.
If everybody's going along with the employer and there are only a small number of you who are willing to wear your buttons or speak up, then it can be quite intimidating. On the other hand, if workers go into those meetings and they do speak up and and the employer loses control of the meeting, then it backfires because it shows that they have power.